They say that a new door opens every time a different one closes, but that's a bunch of horse shit for people too afraid to admit that the past is gone. The door closed behind me with a dead sound. I was in a hallway at St. Francis Hospital. I turned around to see the door to the same janitor's closet where I'd first read a list of rules all those years ago. Cautiously, I opened it and peeked inside. The noxious smell of ammonia greeted me as I reached for the bare bulb and pulled the chain. Sallow light illuminated a neglected storage space, and nothing more. "You won't get into Narnia again by that route," a voice shot from behind me. I wheeled around to find the familiar janitor standing patiently next to me with his hands in his pockets. I'd gotten very good at reading faces over the years of dealing with dying and otherwise incompetent people, but I could not for the life of me gauge what was happening behind his eyes. He was the same age that he had always been, so there was no way to tell what year was happening around me. Then I heard a buzz from a Nokia push-button cell phone on a nearby counter. I looked up at the boxy television hanging from the ceiling. It featured a grainy presentation of American Idol with Simon Cowell, who was apparently still alive. I reached for my pocket to grab my iPhone IX, only to remember that I'd left it in a different coat. My head spun. "They're waiting for you," the janitor responded simply, his hand outstretched. Dazedly, I took 3 steps in the direction he'd indicated. Then I turned back, and he was gone. So I put one foot in front of the other, determined to keep moving until I figured out where the hell I was supposed to go. "You're early," a voice called out. "There's an auspicious beginning." I scanned the hall until I realized that I was approaching Dr. Scritt's office. The voice was coming from inside. I went through the door. The room was decorated hideously, and I suddenly felt a wave of appreciation for the style that Dr. Scritt would eventually bring. A storm raging outside nicely complemented the mood evoked by the taupe and gray curtains. A short, balding man waddled over to me, hand outstretched. His clothing style echoed the "can't groom myself" motif that his general appearance exuded, and I hoped for his sake that he compensated in intellect what he lacked in physical appeal. "Jerry Ringwater, CFO, so pleased to meet you. The higher-ups have been foretelling your arrival for a while now." He grasped my hand with a small, clammy palm and shook vigorously. "Between you and me," he muttered in a lower voice, "I think it's about damn time St. Francis had a woman chief of medicine." He winked. I looked up to see 6 hospital administrators. Their number included John Stevens, looking years younger and much healthier than when I'd last seen him in a casket. At this point in the timeline, he hadn't quite yet inherited Mr. Ringwater's job. I clenched my sphincter to avoid painting the floor with shock. "By the way," Jerry continued, raising his voice for the group of people behind him, "the higher-ups explained that you've just legally changed your name. I have to apologize, but they did not inform us of your new moniker. What should we call you, Dar?" I looked up at the glass cabinet behind the desk, and my reflection looked blurrily back. I needed glasses, thin spectacles to be precise. In another 14 years, I'd be her spitting image. "Oh shit. Fuck my life," I whispered. "Pardon me?" Jerry responded, flabbergasted. I turned sharply on him and narrowed my eyes. I said, "Vivian Scritt. My name means life." He paled slightly and swallowed. "Of course, Dr. Scritt. My apologies." He took 2 small steps back from me. "Would you like to meet Dr. Matthews, our chief of surgery?" My mind was slowly wrapping itself around the new reality that was impossible yet omnipresent. Not one hidden wisp of the real world remained. I felt vertigo as I understood just how frail the gossamer strands of our existence truly are, and wondered whether dying is another way of admitting that we were never real. A sudden shock of urgency rocked through my aching head, and I had to reclench my sphincter. "Date!" I yelled, grabbing Jerry's flabby biceps hard enough to make him wince. What's the date today? He stared at my hand, slack-jawed, and was unable to answer before John Stevens interrupted us. Ah, Dr. Scrit. Meet our chief of surgery, Dr. Ma Dash. I need you to come with me right now, shot a tall man in scrubs as he was rushing toward us, panic carved into his eyeballs. Are you officially the chief of medicine? I was about to look around the group for confirmation, but an invisible force turned my head away from them and made me step confidently forward. Jerry spoke up from behind me. She's Dash. Already on the clock, as are the rest of you. Thank you for showing yourselves out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Dr. Matthews, I'm Dr. Vivian Scrit. Let's walk and talk. He had the essence of a man who eschewed dealing in bullshit. I liked this fact, but it increased my growing sense of panic given how nervous he was. Doctor, I've never seen anything like it. 19 minutes ago, a school bus rolled down an embankment. At least 13 deaths have been confirmed. This storm has shut down half the roads in Charleston. At least 6 of my surgeons are unable to find a way to get to the hospital. You're giving me a school bus full of dead children on my first day as chief of medicine? I asked a very pale Dr. Matthews. Well, no, most of them are, well, they're alive for the moment, Dr. Scrit. I closed my eyes and allowed the lightning bolt of a pre-migraine to tear through my head unabated, lapping at the frayed gray matter of my skull like a cat teasing every drop of milk from the depths of his bowl with a sandpapery tongue. For 3 seconds. Then I breathed out calmly, accepting and embracing the lingering pain as a part of my psyche that would propel me forward. How far out are the first ambulances? Dr. Matthews swallowed. They should be at St. Francis within 4 minutes. The same flood that washed out the bus has shut down the Interstate 77 bridge over the Elk River. So Dash, are you telling me that Charleston Area Medical can't take any of the kids? Well, that's kind of exactly what I'm saying. My headache enriched. How many surgeries are we going to need to perform? I asked politely. He winced. We're anticipating 12 dash. 12? That storm is terrible. Why the hell was a school bus out in the... Never mind. Let's get this circus tent pitched. We're very understaffed for this shit, and don't have nearly enough pediatric surgeons on a good day. I sighed deeply and ran the numbers in my head. Looks like a couple of interns are about to experience their first solo procedures. He nodded, turned, and raced down the hallway. I knew, of course, where this road was headed, and I was determined that this time would be different.